Hi. I guess you probably can't see me very well. I made a video the other day, Frankincense in the Bible, and I found, of course, the one where Yeshua was born and he was given frankincense and myrrh. But I also found a lot of verses in Leviticus that I went over, and you know how they say that the Old Testament is a foreshadowing of the New? Michael Rood likes to say it. He calls them prophetic shadow pictures. Well, and you guys know I'm doing doTERRA, so I'm looking at all the oils in the Bible, Well, in Leviticus it said, and go look it up, but it said something about stacta, galbanum, and onyx or something like that. And I put a comment below, and stacta is myrrh, onychrum or something like that is a plural for onyx, and galbanum was the asafoetida plant. And I looked it up. I was like, what in the world is that? And it's related to a fennel, but it's called big fennel because it looks like a fennel, but it's big. And you're supposed to put those with the frankincense with the bread and the altar for your sacrifice with the bread. Well, Yeshua refers to his flesh and blood as the bread and the wine, right? Well, I just watched this movie on YouTube, The Gospel of John. It's like 3 hours long, but it's on YouTube. And I'm watching it, and when you hear and see things, you catch more than reading. And I'm watching The Gospel of John, and Yeshua, there's one part where he's like, my flesh and my blood is how you, get eternal life. And I was like, okay, well, he's talking to people who, that tinkling is my aquaponics, by the way. No one's peeing over there, so you know. But I was like, well, he's talking to people who obviously, are around other religions of paganism and sacrifice and weird stuff. And so he's comparing their disgusting, cannibalistic human sacrifice to the fact that he's actually going to give his flesh and blood, so that, we don't have to do all that nasty stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, I get that. But then when he's crucified, it says that they packaged up spices and herbs to bury with him in the tomb, including myrrh, which is the stacta that Leviticus talks about, and it didn't mention onyx. So I don't get the onyx thing, but whatever. But it did mention myrrh, and I'm sure frankincense would have been included. That I don't know. And then when he was being crucified, I had never heard about him saying I'm thirsty before, but apparently he said, I'm thirsty, and the Roman soldier took a big fennel stalk and put a sponge on the end and dipped it in wine and gave it to him. And that was foretold. Of course, everything's foretold. And so I just thought about those Leviticus verses when they were sacrificing with the bread, which is the flesh. They were supposed to involve frankincense and myrrh and this plant, asafoetida, or the big fennel, and how those altar sacrifices truly were a foreshadowing of his sacrifice, his Passover sacrifice. And so I just thought about that, and of course it's late, and YouTube just automatically played the next video, so sounds like someone's inside talking, but my kids are asleep, so I just had to share that with you. And so I have a theory. You know how I have theories about Torah, and I'm literally saying this as a religious, historical, informational perspective, not for treating, curing, or preventing a disease, but whatever. When it comes to physiology, there are a lot of things that fight cancer that they, like, for example, the theory with B17 is it's a sugar molecule with a cyanide attached. The cancer brings the sugar molecule in, the cyanide is like a smart bomb. Same with that Dermacure stuff that's selling right now, which is made from eggplant, where it's a glycoside, which is basically a long starchy molecule, and attached to it is some kind of an enzyme that goes in and destroys all of the cancer cell lysosomes or something so that the cancer cell digests itself. Another smart bomb. Well, wheat, bread, grain, which of course I think modern wheat is defiled, so I wouldn't use modern wheat, but the grain that they would have used, which would have been like spelt or quinoa or amaranth or something of that nature, or ancient wheat like einkorn. Wheat is very starchy, and if you were to put frankincense with it, I just wonder if, because they would eat these things after, they wouldn't just leave it on the altar and burn it to a crisp. Like when they would sacrifice animals, they would drain the blood, they would cut off the fat, they would cook the meat, and then they would actually eat it. That's why, it was like teaching them how to cut their meats. That's why Paul later said eating, meat sacrificed to an idol is nothing. Well, it's normal to eat the meat, but we shouldn't be sacrificing to idols, and we shouldn't be eating unclean meats. But of course, you know how I feel about Paul, and if you don't, then I don't know. Another video. But anyways, I just have this thought that wouldn't it be interesting if, in the same way that turmeric gets activated with heat and cooked with fat molecules, in the same way that beta carotene becomes more bioavailable when you cook it, what if frankincense somehow, when cooked with a grain, attaches to a starch or a glycoside of some sort, and then becomes yet another smart bomb? I just wonder. I don't know. You know how I feel about Torah? I feel like it's got hidden messages in it, and I just wanted to share that with you. I love you all.